Well, welcome back. Of course, you know this is Lecture 6, and we're moving on in our unit. We're now, as you know, in Unit 3. And we began talking about business and money last time, and I gave you the assignment, or I asked you to please listen carefully to the lecture that was at the, I should say the passage at the end of the last lecture about entrepreneurs. I hope you did that. There's no better thing you can do in each of these units than listen carefully to these passages, because much of our key vocabulary and many of the key things are in those passages. And so I'm assuming you have some background now about the subject. So when I put this now in front of you, you will not be surprised to see entrepreneurs. I think now you already know about entrepreneurs. And as they tell you here, entrepreneurs are people who start new businesses or industries, and you heard about them, what they need, the qualities. Do you remember that? You heard about how they are different from each other, and you heard about the process. So you know a lot about this already, and here you see the fellow. This is the first person you heard about in the lecture, Mr. Bezos, Jeff Bezos, Person of the Year. Why? Because he was a good entrepreneur. And maybe you remember he was such an entrepreneur because he founded Amazon.com. So I hope you enjoyed listening to that lecture, and I hope you'll listen to it again. What we want to do now is to refresh your memory of it, going through some of the questions and vocabulary about this lecture, and then we go on to do other exercises about business and money. Have you ever seen or heard the word entrepreneur? Of course you have. You listened to a lecture about it, didn't you? So it's not new to you, and I'm sure that now you could tell me about this word. So you are now well informed. What makes a business leader successful? Now, entrepreneur is one type of business leader. Not all business leaders are entrepreneurs. Not all of them start new industries. Some of them take an existing industry and run it. So this is a more general question. What makes a business leader successful? Knowledge, I suppose. Skill, we would think so. Personal characteristics, yes, I think he must be honest. He must be personable. He must be probably, he must also, have social skills. He must be convincing, Things of that sort, certainly. Now, they ask you to make a list on the board. Well, we can't do that, but I'm sure you can think about these things, and I think you'll be able to do that. Now, give examples of people you know who have started their own businesses. Some of you may know some entrepreneurs. We have them everywhere in the world, whether in Saudi Arabia, Europe, Asia, America, because this is a world where people are finding new things and new ways. So entrepreneurs. Let's look at our vocabulary. This should not seem strange to you now, since some of these were in the passage you did. As you see here, we have, brilliant idea. Well, brilliant idea. Brilliant is very good, Brilliant really means bright. So if you're going to be an entrepreneur, probably you need a brilliant idea, Quality has different meanings, but in our passage it means a characteristic. And we remember that there are two main qualities of an entrepreneur, that they both have vision and they're willing to take risks. So those are qualities. Solution, well, one of the things an entrepreneur is doing is trying to find a solution to a problem. Solution, of course, the noun from to solve. If you solve a problem, it means you find the solution. We heard also in the process of being an entrepreneur or pursuing an entrepreneurial idea, you make a team. A team can be people playing together, but also working together. And so if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you need to build a team. Vision was one of the characteristics, one of the qualities of an entrepreneur. Notice it means vision in a different sense. Of course, vision, if you have two eyes, you have vision, but that's physical vision. In our passage, vision had the idea of mental, looking ahead. having ideas, seeing what is possible in the future. So notice it's a figurative use of vision. A person could be blind and still have very good vision. In fact, many times blind people have better vision than seeing people. Our verbs, and please notice the first one, found. This is the verb to found a company, to found a university, mean to establish, and the past is founded. And we heard about some entrepreneurs. One of them founded FedEx, another one founded Yahoo.com. So all of these are from found. The person is a founder. Have in common. In the second part of the lecture, they talked about things that are different or in common among the various entrepreneurs. And we saw they're all different, right? We saw some are rich, some are poor, some from immigrant background, some are men, some are women. So really, they don't have much physical in common, but mentally, personally, yes, they all have vision that they have in common, and they also have risk-taking in common, okay? In common. Hire. H-I-R-E, meaning to give work to someone. If you have an entrepreneurial idea, you can't do it alone. You need to hire workers and probably hire a team to work with you and for you. Identify. Identify means to know what something is. And so if you want to be an entrepreneur, you must first identify a problem. You have to find something that people need to be solved. Identify the problem and then find the solution. Raise capital. Capital, one of our vocabulary now. Capital means money available to be used for a profitable purpose. Now, if you have lots of money and you can't use it, then it's not capital. Capital is useful money. And then we have solve. We talked about that. Surf the internet. Well, one of our entrepreneurs got his idea while surfing the internet, and that was Mr. Bezos, who was surfing the internet and got the idea that wouldn't it be nice to sell books over the internet and to take risks, one of our qualities. So reviewing some of the basic vocabulary in the passage. Now, it says listen. Well, we've done this, and you can listen again and again because the passage is there in your lecture. What are entrepreneurs? You know that now. They are people who take new ideas and build on them and are successful in doing so. Characteristics, they have vision, and they take risks. So that's really a review of what you've listened to. Now, in terms of what you should be integrating new into your learning is strategies when listening. And one of them is outlining. Outline, of course, means around. So when you get the outline, you know the shape. And so in outlining, shape is important. In chapters 1 and 2, you learned how to indent to show the relationship between main ideas and specific details. You can also show this relationship by using an outline. An outline looks like this. If you're doing writing, we use the same approach. Main topics, we have the Roman numeral, subtopic with capital letter, details below that as numbers, Arabic numbers 1 and 2. So this is a very good idea when you're taking a lecture. How do you know how many Roman numerals? Usually the lecture will begin, I have 2 main things, I have 3 main topics. So when you hear that, you're already geared to divide your notes into 1, 2, or 3. And then as he introduces different points, you arrange them on your paper. Now, you had a chance to do this at home, and maybe some of you have already done it. There was an exercise on page 63, and I filled it in as an example for you. We began with the topic entrepreneurs, and we began, as always, I shouldn't say as always, as often, with an example. Our example was Jeff Bezos, Amazon.com. For me, that would be enough to remember, Jeff Bezos is the person who founded Amazon.com. We don't want to take down lots of words we don't have time. We want to get down the key words and show the relationships as easily as possible. We don't want to waste time on grammar. Aren't you happy to hear that? When you take notes, you can forget about grammar, not about spelling necessarily, but grammar. Definition of entrepreneur, notice the person wrote def of ent. For him that was enough, or for her. It's up to you when you take notes, but be sure that you can interpret what you have written. Someone who does something new. And then we came to the second part. The second part was characteristics. And we heard they are similar for all entrepreneurs. Letter A, vision. And I put an equal sign. He sees opportunities. And we had the example, again, of Jeff Bezos and the idea of selling books online. I did not write Amazon.com again because you have it above. It's a basic point in taking notes that you don't write things twice. If the lecturer or the lecturer presents something twice and you think it's important, put a star beside it, underline it, but you don't write it twice. That's a waste of time. The second, B, willing to take risks. Here we had a new example. Frederick Smith, FedEx. Of course, that means he was the founder of FedEx. And what does FedEx do? Quick delivery. Now, again, you could use other words. These are your notes. But they must be words that you can interpret later. The third area that was covered was background. And you notice diff for difference. Now, the first point was education. The point was made, they're different. Jeff Bezos, college. Bill Gates, no college. B, some rich, some poor. C, many entrepreneurs, immigrants. Example, Jerry Yang, founded Yahoo.com, came from Taiwan as boy. I didn't say as a boy, we don't need the grammar. Even you could say Taiwan boy, maybe that's enough for you. And then D, some old, many young. E, some women. Example, Anita Roddick. And there I put of the body shop. I use a lot of arrows when I take notes. And let's go to the last part of our lecture, the one about the entrepreneurial process. Taking notes on a process. Listen to the second part of the lecture. Continue taking notes on your own paper. After listening, use your notes to fill in the missing information. So again, if you're using the materials in this course well, you are doing this ahead of time. You are trying to get down information, and then we check it and we see how well you have done. Now, the entrepreneurial process, there were 6 steps. A, identify a problem. B, think of a solution. C, prepare a business plan. D, put together a team. You could say make a team, form a team. The words are not important. The meaning is important. E, test market your idea. Idea, test market. You could do it different ways. Raise capital. Now, what we're trying to have you do here is to start taking notes, get the information down. Because also, when you are tested, you might hear part of one of these passages. It's hard to remember Jeff Bezos was FedEx or was Fred Smith. Hard to remember. But if you take notes, it will be so easy. So really, we are pushing you to take notes. I say we because I see us here as a team, meaning not just me, all of your teachers. All of the teachers for English would like to see you taking good notes. Discussing the lecture. Discuss the following questions about the lecture and your own experience. Refer to your notes as necessary. Match each person with the company he or she founded. Have you ever used any of these companies' products? There's Jeff Bezos, and we heard Amazon.com. Some of you may have ordered books online. Bill Gates, Microsoft, I feel most of you will have used some Microsoft software at least. Jerry Yang, of course, Yahoo.com, very few people today who have not used Yahoo. Anita Roddick, The Body Shop. Well, if you are concerned about your looks, you may have used the Body Shop. Nice cosmetics, nice soaps and things of that sort, especially for the feminine crowd. And then Frederick Smith FedEx. Maybe you have used it. So entrepreneurs are part of our life, huh? Number 2, what qualities do all entrepreneurs have in common? By now, that's old hat, isn't it, huh? Vision and risk-taking, huh? 3, in what way can entrepreneurs be different? We just saw many ways in terms of their financial background, education, in terms of whether they're man or woman, in terms of whether they're immigrant or not. So many differences. Really, the thing that makes they have in common is what they do, not what they are, huh? In other words, the qualities they have, not their color, not their age, none of these things. The 6 steps, we just went through them. Remember, you get the idea, you solve the problem, then you test the idea, and and so on. Why are entrepreneurs cultural heroes in the United States? Well, I think they're probably cultural heroes everywhere because they make our world better, huh? They give us new possibilities, huh? Think of the life without Yahoo, huh? Or Google, up to you. Would you like to be an entrepreneur? Well, I don't know. I think most of us would like to be. The question is, are we willing to work that hard? It's hard work, huh? And you're taking chances. It's risky business, so it's up to you. All right, so that was reviewing your passage, and if you have any problems with it, please let me know. But I hope you understand now the basics about entrepreneurs. Remember, the key thing you can do is always go back, listen to the lecture again. These lectures should become part of you, so that when it does come time for the final exam and you hear part of one, they say, oh, well, that's my old, well-known passage, huh? Think about that. We have a section here called Talk It Over.